Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to today's conversation on Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sarah Jane, and I am delighted to be joined by my co-hosts, Diana Leader. Hiya, Diana.
Hello.
And Scott Holmes. Hi, Scott.
Hey there.
And our guest, who all of us know, Angela Orora Medway-Smith. Hi, Angela. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, it's my pleasure. It's wonderful to see you all.
I'm going, actually, as Angela is actually Diana's guest, I'm going to hand over to Diana to do more of an introduction of Angela.
And that's my pleasure, that's for sure. So, Angela, as an introduction, I have just so many things that I would love to touch on, but I basically want people to know that, you are an awesome friend. You are an amazing healer. You are an amazing teacher, and you have taught me so much that I am just so incredibly grateful. And I'm grateful that you are here so that we can hear more about St. Germain and his books. And I'm really eager to get into that topic. So thank you for being here. And I really appreciate it very, very much.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. So where would you like me to begin?
So share a little about you and how this all came about.
Okay. So I'm known as the Practical Mystic. I've been working with energy and the spirit realm for over 40 years, which is kind of a scary number. And initially, my work was as a healer and as a spiritual consultant. And that was for a few years. I went back to Wales and raised my family. And then about 12 years ago, I was reactivated, if you like. And it was made very clear to me that my soul's path was one of service to spirit. And this took different forms to begin with in my business. So again, I started healing, working as a spiritual consultant. I also started teaching. I taught intuitive development for the first time in 1990. And I was told I needed to be doing that again. I was encouraged, I shall say, to start festivals and spiritual fairs in my hometown in South Wales to introduce people to different forms of healing. And it was at one of those festivals that one of my lovely readers told me that I would be writing a book, and it would be called The Book of Many Colours. And I just laughed at her and said, "Oh, I don't want to write books. It's not on my list of things to do." And she just said, "Well, that's what Spirit is saying." And fast forward to the next festival, and by then I was not just doing mediumship and psychic readings, but I was also doing trance mediumship. I work in light trance, and for those people who don't know what that means, it's really simple. I'm able to move my consciousness to one side and allow angels and Ascended Masters to use my voice. So I'd started doing this, and St. Germain had started to drop in. And he came into this festival with a really clear to-do list for me. And it was to gather 5 people. It was very specific about the people. And I had to sit with these people for a year in circle to enable me to hold his energy for a length of time. And by the end of the year, I was able to allow him to talk through me for an hour, and he loves holding court. It's magnificent. And then not just him, but other Ascended Masters and Archangels, Archangelic collectives, which brought me to the next step, which was the Book of Many Colours. And then the world shut down, and we were in 2020, and all of this had been achieved by then. And this is going to sound really bizarre when I say this, but I was busier in lockdown than I was beforehand. I was still teaching. I was still running fairs online, introducing people to all the different salespeople that just holding Zooms, all the things. And then I was offered an opportunity in the middle of the pandemic to go to the Dominican Republic and run retreats, as you do. Yeah. And it was while I was in the Dominican Republic that the channelings started coming through. It was as if I needed to be in a space of really pure and high energy for me to start this work, for me to start this channeling. And so it took me a while because it was my first book. But after it, by about June of 2021, I'd completed the book, which was, I think there are about 30 channelings in there, but it's a real practical handbook of how to use the divine rays and sacred flames for personal transformation. And then I was sent a book coach, just like that, who offered to do an exchange with me. So I went along to her Magdalene circle, and so I was channeling Mary Magdalene, and in exchange, she was going to review my book and give me any pointers on it. And then on 11/11/21, I published the Book of Many Colours, and that was book number 1. And it was quite a ride. So it was quite a ride from the beginning of being told in 2018 this was coming to the whole of 2019, learning how to hold the energy. 2020, it started to come through, and 2021, it manifested. But that was just the beginning. I had no idea of what I'd let myself in for.
Wow. That's a lot right there. It's amazing.
Yeah. And within a couple of months, I was receiving instructions to write in book collaborations. So I worked with Anna Pereira on 25 Tools for Goddesses. And very quickly after that, 2 more books came through, 2 more book collaborations. And then I decided to go to my friend's house. I've got a wonderful friend who lives in a place called Merlin's Bridge in West Wales. And because I thought there was another book coming, and I'd been told there was another book coming. But this time, St Germain was very clear. Things were going to be moving a lot faster. So it was about the 25th of January, 2022. And I was told that I wasn't going to be this. It was a Saturday, whatever the day was, it was a Saturday. And I was told I wasn't going to be writing the book I thought I was going to be writing. I was going to be writing the Book of Many Flames. So on the Saturday, I said, okay, that's fine. I'll just do as I'm told and just bring it through. So Monday, I travelled down and got unpacked and set myself up. Tuesday morning, St Germain said, I want this published on 22/2/22. Now, bear in mind, this is the last week of January. And I just laughed and said, well, you're going to have to send me the money to pay for an editor and publishing. You're going to have to keep me well through the channeling. You're going to have to make sure that my friend Annie is around to proofread this before it goes to the editor. And the editor's going to have space for this. She's normally booked up. Overnight, I had enough bookings to pay for Michelle. Annie was available. Michelle said yes. And to cut a long story short, the following Thursday, I hit send on a 38,000 word manuscript with 30 channelings in it that was typeset. And at 9 a.m, Michelle rang me and said, oh, you're not going to believe this, but the person whose manuscript I was supposed to start working on has pulled out. And so I can start on this straight away. When Spirit wants something done, they make sure it gets done. And we didn't just publish on the 22nd, we published a few days early so that it would be up and ready. Yeah. I think it was loaded, because sometimes Amazon take five days to get things up. Right. So I think it actually uploaded on the 17th or the 18th. So, I mean, it was ridiculous. It's not humanly possible because it wasn't humans. I'm just the channel.
So I just want to make a point here. You said, well, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's very easy. I just put myself aside. Count me as one of those people that calls that quite an act of faith, an act of being able to just kind of set yourself aside to be able to channel like that.
Well, I'd been doing mental mediumship for a long time, and actually channeling's easier because as a mental medium, you're using all of your clairsenses and translating what you're seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling for people. Okay. When working in light trance or working in full trance even, is much easier because literally you don't have to do anything. You just move aside and then they do it. And so it is a blessing. And I guess it's a strange thing to a lot of people, but for most mediums understand the concept. And people who follow Abraham, I can't remember her name now.
Yes, yeah. I know you.
Yes.
Abraham Hicks.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yeah, there's a lady who works in trance in the US, and she works in full trance. And Esther Hicks, Esther Hicks, that's right. And she channels Abraham. Abraham is a collective.
Right.
So I have channeled collectives. So my work is primarily with angels, Ascended Masters, angelic collectives, but I have channeled other beings as well, which is really interesting. Yeah. And Diana's seen me channel.
I have, and it blows me away every time. We'll have a conversation and something will come up and Angela will say, well, hang on, just let me check. Oh, yep, there it is. it's spontaneous. It's amazing. Yeah, you're very, very skilled. And I just love the connection that you have so that you can do that. I mean, talk about, from a human to spiritual connection. I mean, for me, that's kind of what it's all about, right? So to be able to do that and to do it as efficiently and effectively and clearly as you do, I just kind of sit back and watch and think, holy moly, that's that's really something. Yeah. And I can't for a second understand the impact of all this and what it's going to have on the world. I mean, it's unimaginable because it will be so huge.
Well, there are now a lot of books, and Scott was in the first of St Germain's book collaborations, the Energy Healers Oracle. So that came about because I received the instruction that St Germain wasn't happy that people didn't really understand that there were many, many different forms of energy healing. So he wanted me to gather, I get the instruction, you will gather energy healers and therapists who will explain about their different modalities and give people the tools how to use them. And that was the Energy Healers Oracle. And I'm so proud of that book, because in 2024 Book Authority named it as number 21 of the top 100 best healing books of all time.
Congratulations.
All time. Now, this is a very mobile list. It's like the same as, Amazon listings. They move. But I just, I had a little note in my mailbox, and I clicked this note, and there it was. And it wasn't anything I'd applied for, anything I hadn't even told anybody about. It was, they'd found the book on their own, and it was completely, nothing to do with me. I hadn't applied, you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, so there have been four oracle books, one of which has been expanded, and the fifth, which is probably the sixth book really, is being published in November this year on 11/11 again. I love a portal.
You're talking about sort of the mediumship, etc., and I know I channel.
Yeah.
And I suppose in the respect of moving out of the way, that's when I speak light language, because I have not a clue what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And actually, I suppose a little bit like you, I actually love that. I love the fact that I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know the meaning of it. It's not for the head to understand.
Yeah.
But the heart and the soul do. And that's what I love about it, that so many people feel an energy about it. The odd person says, I know exactly what's being said. And I'm thinking, okay, if you do, great. But I don't ask what's being said, because I don't require a translation. For me, it's not to be translated into what the head will understand, because that can be so distorted and misinterpreted, because because of our understanding of words, they're all slightly different. I know they have the dictionary meaning, but words can have a different energy for different people. And that's what I love about the light language. But I work with dragons and many mythical beings. And there are and I think all of us can say the same. I write an article, I go back, and sometimes I read it and think, did I really write that? Because it's just, where did that come from? And I think for so many of us, that was something that we were meant to put out there. I think we're channeling more when we're open to the energies that we work with. And I do believe that St Germain and the Violet Flame are part of what I work with the sound, with the toning. I really do, along with Mother Mary, Gaia, and Archangel Uriel. Being open to the different energies, because we've all got all of them around us.
Yeah.
We are never alone. Even if we feel like we're alone. And it's just like my trip up to Scotland, it's just like, I'm going to have to drive all the way up there, and I will be driving all the way back. It's okay, guys, I know you wish me to go there. I've been feeling the dragon energies up there. So I require the support, and I ask that. It's being open to asking the support, but also listening. When it came to sort of my book, I had to listen to what I was being told, but it came at me, it didn't come at me in the words that it comes to you, but it's being open to the different ways that you are being spoken to, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it all started with St Germain, but the Magdalene Oracle is Lady Nada's book. And the Book of Light that was published on the solstice this year is Lord Lanto's book. And that's another one that I don't argue with them anymore. I just negotiate timelines with them. Yeah. But it was 2 years ago that I was instructed to write what is now the Book of Light, but it doesn't bear any resemblance to what I thought it was going to be. You know, again, I went to Merlin's Bridge for 2 weeks, and when I left, I had a completely different manuscript to the one that I thought I was going to leave with. I thought it was going to be just about the etheric retreats, and it became so much more. So they're there for people to find when they're ready, and that's the key, really. But coming back to light language, Sarah, across the 2 Energy Healers Oracle books, I think I've got three channels of light language talking about how they work with it and teaching people how to do it and how to be open, because particularly many younger people seem to have come with the ability to be able to open to this. You know, it's more unusual for people of our generation. What's odd is I understand light language and I want to reply in light language. I haven't got the faintest idea what I'm saying, but the reply comes into my head. And sometimes I'll speak it, sometimes I won't. It depends who I'm with. But so on a soul level, we understand these words. But what Spirit have said to me about them is that the languages available on our planet do not hold the correct resonance. They do not hold the right energy for what's being communicated.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've actually, on a couple of programs, I've had a conversation with a guest in light language. Neither of us had a clue what we're saying, but it's quite an amazing thing to do. Is to have you listen to what they've said, and then you're saying a load of stuff, and you're thinking, I have no idea. and I, you know, as much as I feel that, I love the fact, because this can't get in the way. The head cannot get in the way of it. And as I was saying before, it's just like, with our language, sometimes we can't find the words to describe something. Or if we describe something, somebody hears it differently to what we mean. You know, how many times does somebody say something and you think, oh, but they may not mean what you've heard.
Mm. Yeah, perception is
be
very challenging, especially if the voice intonation isn't used, you know, messages, emails, all the things. It can be very challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, Scott, any thoughts?
Yeah, I just kind of get blown away. Now, we've spoken many times before, Angela, and you talk about rays of light and the different degrees and the different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Can you expand on that so that people may know? Obviously,
okay.
It's very involved, but just a very basic of what you mean by the different rays of light and colors and
it's really simple, actually. So
everything's simple when you know.
So up until 2012, if people are going to search for this on the internet, up until 2012, we had seven sacred flames and divine rays available to us. When our planet's frequency shifted in 2012, and so did the frequency of the inhabitants of the planet, we were gifted access to many more. And so this is what the Book of Many Colours and the Book of Many Flames are about. The 28 divine rays and sacred flames that in 2020 we had available to us. Now, more are filtering in all the time, but I haven't been told to make any changes to these books. And maybe that'll be for somebody else, or maybe there's another time somebody after me needs to be updating them. So if you think about a rainbow, these were the original 7 colours of the sacred flames and divine rays. But basically there are now 28. And for each of these frequencies, hold different characteristics. And I'll just give you a few examples. So Sara's already touched on the violet flame, the 7th sacred flame. It holds the energy of transformation, of transmutation. Now, for many people, the Ascended Lady Master Portia works on this frequency, but she also works on the 9th sacred flame and divine ray, which is the ray of challenge, and the silver violet flame. And I think, Diana, did we work with Lady Portia when we were in Glastonbury?
I believe we did, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. And St Germain, that was and St Germain. Now, even this morning, I was talking to somebody and I received some more information. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how it happens. So every one of these sacred flames is looked after by a guardian or patron. And I talked about St Germain and Lady Portia. They have a sacred symbol that you can use to attune to them. They have a crystal that holds the frequency. And when I was channeling the Book of Many Colours, they also gave me affirmations people can use to draw in the frequency as well. And so I don't have my hands on the cards, but I've got the book in front of me. I've got an accidental oracle deck that just manifested because I Yeah, because of perception. Again, I'd sent a message to a friend of mine, and who had illustrated the symbols in the book for me, and he thought that about giving me color versions for cards I wanted to do, and then all of a sudden he'd done half a deck of cards before I even asked, and so the deck was born. I had no wish to do these things; they just kind of manifested. So for the listeners, I'll just pick up Book of Many Colors, and I will ask which one should I talk about. Oh, okay. Well, we're in already. We're back to Lady Portia. So clearly, the ninth ray is the ray of challenge. The patron is the Lady Master Portia. The colour is magenta. So it's not magenta in the pink, deep pink, slightly different magenta. And so we'd be working with the properties of challenge, initiation, opportunity, magic, mediumship, seership, transition and passage from one state to another. So altered states like consciousness and trance. It's about working with the shadow and its refinement and acceptance, not transmutation, acceptance. And also working with psychism as well. So the crystal is sugilite. It's the sugilite you can only get in sort of thumbnail size pieces these days, and any color from the palest lilac to almost black you can find sugilite in. And the affirmation is I am embodiment. Now that seems like an odd affirmation, but that affirmation aligns you to this frequency, because we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, so we are embodied. So it's about actually accepting the fact that we're in the here and now, and this is what we're dealing with, and this is what we need to be changing the vibration of as we work through this human life. Right. Shall I pick another one?
Yes, carry on.
Yeah, okay.
We've got time.
Right.
We've got time.
Okay. One of my absolute favorites. I mean, Lady Portia is one of my favorites, to be honest. But the 66th ray is overseen by Archangel Haniel, and it's the ray of unconditional love. Beautiful frequency to work with, absolutely glorious. And the color is a pale pink. The crystal is kunzite, which is a pale pink. And the symbol is the heart, and the properties are unconditional love, the awakening of the higher heart chakra, compassion, mercy, love, empathy, the way and wisdom of the Divine Mother, and also connection to the tapestry of life and emotional healing, and even animal communication can be done underneath this, in this frequency. And the affirmation, all is love. And they're just glorious. They're just absolutely glorious. And so simple to use. So simple. You can connect in meditation. If you want to just simply bathe in the energy of the rays, you can connect in meditation. If you want to channel the energy of the flames, because the flames drive the rays, then you would work with an invocation. And that's what the Book of Many Flames is about, the one that manifested in a week. Well, less than a week. Because I did take a day off on the Sunday. Yeah. So they're very simple.
thinking about sort of trusting the process. And I think, obviously, you've very much talked about it to a certain degree, I have. But I'd like to hear from both Diana and from Scott. Have you got a thought, a memory of a time when you have just gone, okay, I'm trusting this? I'm going to come to you first, Diana.
Yeah, I think that there have been many times. There have also been many times that I didn't realize what I was trusting. So it's been a learning process for me to understand that. Angela obviously has helped me. Scott has helped with that as well. But yeah, so trusting most of the time is trusting the path to business. What I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm not supposed to be doing, where I'm supposed to be putting my energy, where I'm not supposed to be putting my energy. That will definitely come through, and it's made a big difference for me. Yeah, I'm not chasing rainbows anymore. I'm focusing on what's fun, basically what's fun. So, which is part of why we're going to see Angela, because that's fun. Yeah, so you do have to trust, definitely understand and then trust. Yeah. So thank you, Angela.
I've gotten these calls. I call them calls. Sometimes a wake up call, sometimes a knock. Hamali Bora was going to India, and I have a friend who travels all the time, and so he said, give me the information, I'll give it to a friend of mine. And so I started reading it, and I heard, you're going to India, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? I had no desire to go to India. I've never thought of going to India. And I had to, no, you're going. And so I looked at Patty, my wife, and I said, I don't know if you believe this, but I'm being called to go to India. She said, I think it sounds like a great idea. I'm like, yeah, I still don't. So I got on a call with Hamali, and it was her first real time that she was leading a retreat. And we were going to Taj Mahal, and we were going to the Himalayas. And it was one of the most profound experiences for me. That's happened in going to Peru. It's happened in going to Greece. It's happened in going to Egypt. I get called to go, and I've trusted. This last one in Egypt. Now, I booked the flight through Doha down to Egypt, and the airport is being closed every other day because they're firing missiles at it. And I'm like, that's not a good thing. I learned that I am allergic to missiles. So I said, okay. And I really was fighting with myself about, is it dangerous to go or not? And that's when I just asked. And I had this calm come over me, and it said, no, you're fine. I rebooked the flight through Switzerland to Egypt, and I had the most incredible time because I went. And I was thinking about all these things. The book, From Burnout to Burning Bright, that I led, I had no intention of doing it until it was, nope, and here it is. And it was set forth for me. And a month before we had to start writing, I had 3 people. And I had no clue how I was going to get more people into this book. And the beginning of January, there were 24 other authors. So it's that Angela, what you had said about when you're called to do something and you trust in it, all of a sudden, all the pathways just open up. All of those obstacles that, I think we put them in our own way sometimes, or we anticipate them, but they just are cleared away. And for anybody watching this, I want these are 3 spectacular women. And their words should open up those pathways for you, because they've all done things that, yeah, I think in their own 3D life, with family, with children, with responsibilities, you go, no, I wouldn't do that. But they were called to do these things, and they did them. And with books that they've led, with podcasts that they've done, with retreats that they've been on, with, in Sarah Jane's case, walking on the wing of a plane, as well as a few other things. That no matter how adventuresome I am, I don't know if I would get out on the wing of a plane. But it's those times we're called to do those things, and we're told it's okay. And having that trust and understanding, while everybody around you says, "You're out of your mind. What are you doing?" Mm-hmm. I had 4 or 5 people who were close to me say, "You're not going." I said, "Yeah, I'm going to Egypt." "Well, how can you go? There's war going on." I said, "Well, there's war going on everywhere. Does that mean if something happens in Manchester, you can't go to London?" I mean, the space between is so great, and we see the world in such small things, in a small way. But when we trust that calling, everything opens.
Absolutely. Just very quickly, I had realized that many mythical beings, but if they came to us in meditation, what was the message? So many packs of oracle cards for different things, but what was the message from mythical beings? And I tried researching it on the internet, books, everything, and there was nothing. Obviously you got the odd ones with sort of mermaids and sort of unicorns, but you hadn't got, if I want of a better word, a pack that was different ones. And I remember thinking about it in the car one day. How am I supposed to find this out? What are the messages? And I don't hear voices, but the words were in my head. You're doing it. And it was just like, okay, so I got myself a couple of books that told me about the mythical beings, with different ones. And I'd open the book, I'd sit, I've got pen and paper, because it was not about sitting at the computer, got pen and paper, and it was just like, read about the myth, and it would be a word or two within it. But one of the main things they said to me at the very beginning was, do not share our myths and legends. So many of them have been distorted to create fear. Mm. And it was just like, okay. But then the dragons said to me, there is an aspect of our myth and legend that is true. We do guard over a treasure. You are your dragon's treasure. Because we all have a guardian dragon. Mm. Well, I have more than one, but it's trusting. And as you've gone through, Angela, it's just like, I don't know about you, but there have been times when I've gone, why me? And then it's just like, no, why not me? It's trusting that it's there for a reason. You've made an agreement, and maybe this is it's part of your agreement to be here. So I hope that what's been shared here, especially from Angela, that people will think, okay, am I not hearing things so much as, do I feel guided? And am I going to trust that guidance I'm feeling? Because that's the most important thing, isn't it? It's the trust in the feeling, the thought, the words, whatever it is, however it is that it comes to you. Because I don't see things, I don't hear things. For me, most of the time, it is just about a sense of, I know this is right, so I'm going to trust it regardless. And just go with
Yeah. I mean, that's claircognizance. It's just one of the clair senses, you know, and for many people, that's it, you know. And many mediums just work with claircognizance. Not all of them work with seeing and hearing. So yeah, you're not alone. That's what the Intuitives Oracle is about. How to develop all of the clair senses, because we can develop them all. I don't believe that we can't, for put it another way. I do believe that we come into this life a sum of the experiences all of our past lives with certain abilities, if they are turned on. But we can improve these. So yeah, that's what the Intuitives Oracle was about.
So if you would, could you explain about St. Germain?
Okay. So the Ascended Master St Germain he's had many lives, but he's most well known as the Comte de Saint Germain, who he was known as the Mystery Man of Europe, and he was part of the French court in 16th, 17th, 18th century, and he sort of used to disappear and come back, and he hadn't aged. So this was the mystery about him, and he was the Mystery Man of Europe. So when Ascended Masters are individual human souls who have gone through the cycle of reincarnation and don't need to come back to the planet, and then they have ascended, if you like, and become part of a collective called the Ascended Master Collective. It was also known as the Great White Brotherhood. So you hear the different names. So I've had many lives with the Ascended Master St Germain, and so I've got quite I think a close relationship with him. I'm not afraid to argue with him, which I do, and I will even when I'm channeling, if I'm in front of a group and I think he's saying something wrong, I will interrupt him. So we have a very equally balanced relationship. So, but he's also been a priest at the time of Atlantis. He was the author of the Shakespeare plays. Yeah. And he was also Joseph of Arimathea. So those are some of his most famous lives. But the name he took is the Comte de Saint Germain. Oh, and he was the avatar for the Merlin frequency as well. So he was the Druid Emrys. So in the physical form, he was the Druid Emrys, and the Druid Emrys held a cosmic Ascended Master frequency, the Merlin energy. So it's a little bit complicated. There are regular Ascended Masters who have common garden jobs, if you like, and then the cosmic ones work on a universal basis. That's the way to think about it, really.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to kind of flesh that out a little bit so that people could fully understand what you were referring to.
Okay, so Saint Germain has been very active for about 150 years. So he started working with Helena Blavatsky, who started the Theosophy movement in the Victorian times. He was working with Alice Bailey, Godfrey Ray King in the 1930s. He was very busy with Elizabeth Clare and Mark Prophet in the 60s. He works with people in a way that's comfortable for them. So for me, he works with the books clearly, but also with healing, with energy healing frequencies. But I have an acquaintance who lives in California at Mount Shasta called Peter Mount Shasta, who works with him. And because Peter works with Tibetan Buddhism, Saint Germain works with him through the Violet Tara. You see, so he works with people in a way that they can use and understand. And many, many light workers he works with. So he's working with Sara Jane with music. So he works with us differently. He's a very interesting chap. And yes, I'll leave it there.
Well, that was you met him. It's almost like you met him down at the pub for a beer.
I have to be honest, in this life, the first time that I channeled him was completely unexpected. It was in front of, I was leading my intuitive development class in Wales in 2018, and he literally dropped in while I was leading the class and announced himself to everybody while I'm there watching, thinking what's going on, and said to them, take a look at me. Look, don't be afraid to look at my face. Don't be afraid to look at me, because he was overlighting me at the same time. So the people who were there could see his face, they could see my body change, they could see his hands, all the things. And that was the start. So, yeah. And initially I was a little bit, oh my gosh, it's an Ascended Master. But I've since sort of, he's a friend.
Your buddies now.
We are. I absolutely adore him. Actually, I prefer him as Joseph of Arimathea. He's much nicer. Not nicer. He's less bossy. So he's less bossy when he comes through as that. So yeah.
I think, isn't it a matter of accepting that we are all spiritual beings, and there are many, many, many of us, I believe, here at this time, who maybe aren't quite the cosmic Ascended Masters, but are Ascended Masters. We didn't have to come here. We chose to come back at this time. There are many of us, and we're not just talking a few, we are talking many spread around the world, because that energy it's the more of us that connect, the greater that net of connection is around the world. And we're here at this time with this technology to be able to do that. Because yes, there are two of us in the UK, but it's Canada and the States. So we're part of that net. We're part of that connection. And there are those who still haven't necessarily fully woken up to the fact that they are also part of that connection. Mm-hmm. Because more and more of us we might be really, but we are opening, more and more are opening up to the amazing connection, the like-minded people that are out there, that they can have these sort of conversations with, without thinking that they're often able to be locked up, sort of.
Yeah.
So it's important for these conversations to be out there. And I know that this and all the other conversations that we have will touch the lives they are meant to when they are meant to. It's like all our books, all of these things. If we don't put them out there, we can't touch the lives. By putting them out there, we're honoring what we agreed to come to do. So, right, I'm going to go round each of you. I'll come to you first, Angela, and say, any final words before we close?
I would say, don't ever underestimate the impact that you, whoever you are watching this, is having on the planet. Because just one person shining their light ripples out into their family, into their community. And the more of us that hold the light, the quicker our whole that humanity and our planet will move to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Diana.
So I want to say that I live on the edge of all of this in many ways. And I know there are a lot of people who are deeply entrenched in what I would just call more the traditional roles, as opposed to some of the stuff that we've been talking about today. And I mean, I adore it. I got to tell you, I just adore it. And I love listening to the deepness of it, that, everything teaches me more. But I am most intrigued by the fact that, as you were saying earlier, Sara Jane, we're here for something. We're here for something. It's not, we're not playing. This is real stuff, and it's meaningful, and it's, as you said, Angela, it's meaningful to the whole planet. So I say congratulations to anybody that has taken on a deeper role than perhaps what others can't. I mean, I'm not channeling in the same way you guys do either. And that's okay. I mean, we're all here to do whatever it is we're supposed to do, however you're supposed to do it. But I'm very, very grateful that people are walking this path and doing the kind of work that you are doing, Angela. Thank you.
Scott.
I agree. Angela, you have quite a voice, and I want to say thank you for that. You've in the many ways that you've taught and opened people's minds and shown them different pathways, and that is something that reverberates, and as you said, it ripples outward. And for everyone listening, you do this work for you. Most of the time it's by yourself, whether through meditation, whether through ritual, through reading, through learning, through understanding. And raising your vibration helps raise the vibration of everything and everyone around you. So don't minimize your impact, as Angela has said, as Sara has said, as Diana has said. Don't minimize your impact on those people around you, and just keep looking forward.
Bless you. Thank you to all of you. I have put Angela's websites into the chat. Please, if anything here has spoken to you and you wish to learn more about Angela and her work, please check that. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will also find not just Angela's, but all of ours. Please just check them out. If you want to connect with us, there's a contact page on all the websites. You can connect directly with us. We share these programs because we care. And we share everything else that we do because we care. So I hope that you'll consider researching into some of the things that we do and maybe exploring them further. Next week, I am being joined by a gentleman called Philip Cuxton, and he's going to be sharing transmission meditation for the new age, and a message of hope. So I hope you'll think about joining us for that. In the meantime, folks, take care, stay well, be safe. Namaste, sweet souls. Bye.